What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to a special edition of Minecraft Disney World. So of course today we are going into the Disney World's Walt, one of Walt's really his famous attractions, and that is the Haunted Mansion. So the Haunted Mansion is one of those attractions, there are a few attractions out there that are fairly new, don't have a ton of history or lore. This one is the quintessential example of the opposite. This attraction has so much deep-rooted history in the Disney company, in Walt Disney, and there's just so many storylines to tell. So, of course, the original was in Disneyland, and Disneyland's version was kind of an interesting path to opening. So the original attraction, like I said, is housed in New Orleans Square, and it opened in August of 1969. So it just had its 50-year anniversary a few years back. And what's interesting is that attraction has actually been standing for much longer than that. There was a lot of issues during construction, and really it came down to what do they want to do with this attraction, because there's so much involved in this type of attraction in terms of just, what they were going to do with it, what were they going to theme it to, what was the backstory of the mansion, and ultimately what they ended up using for like a ride system and things like that. So kind of the first part of it comes down to what I would say is, what's the best way to describe this? So once it came to the Magic Kingdom, they had perfected it a little bit. It opened 2 years later at the Magic Kingdom in Liberty Square. There were there's one other version in Tokyo Disneyland, and that opened in 1983. So there are 3 different versions of the Haunted Mansion attraction. The ride length is anywhere between 5 minutes to 8 minutes. There's 109 audio animatronics in this attraction. As much as they're willing to tell you there's 999 happy haunts, there is only 109 animatronics. Another really interesting part of the Haunted Mansion, like I said, going back to the Disneyland connection, is there was a time where this was going to be called the Museum of the Weird. And basically what it was going to be was sort of a attraction that you walk through. And eventually they came to a point where they came up with the Doom Buggies, and the rest is history. And the Doom Buggies really was the better option. That ended up being the right way to go about this attraction. And as they were developing it, now that they had decided they were no longer going to do the Wax Museum with the Museum of the Weird, they were going to go in the direction with the Doom Buggies. And then it became, well, what is this attraction going to be? Is this going to be a scary haunted mansion and really realistic and more about the supernatural things, or was it going to be more of a fun, uplifting sort of attraction? And obviously, if you've ridden the attraction, you would understand that this attraction really is a combination of both, in the sense that in the beginning it's much more eerie, scary, kind of version of a haunted house, and then the second half of the ride is much more uplifting and kind of bouncy and kind of fun. And that comes down to the Imagineers that were put on this attraction. And I think it's really interesting, the back and forth of this attraction, whether it should be scary or not, is pretty easily seen in the attraction. And that's why I think this attraction, if you understand the history, it really is so cool to kind of see how they used both versions and put it into this attraction. So yeah, you have the scary elements to make it a serious attraction that does give you genuine thrills, but it's also an attraction that's just a lot of fun. And I think they did, I went out the wrong way. I guess maybe it broke. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, Um, there have been updates to the attraction. We've seen over the years definitely some changes to the attraction. And this guy's gonna join me, I guess. That is creepy. Wow. He just stole my cart. That wasn't very nice. I guess we have to wait a little bit now. Oh. Hey, buddy, you stole my cart. Oh. We'll just have to wait a few minutes. That's okay. So, like I said, there's been a lot of changes to the attraction. Recently, over the last, I want to say the last 10 years, they recently redid the queue at the Magic Kingdom in particular. And that's why right now we're actually seeing them completely redo the queue in Disneyland. The attraction's actually shut down. It's actually going to be shut down for, I think, a year. And for the first time ever, I think we're going to see the attraction, it closed with Nightmare Before Christmas, and I think the entire year is going to go by with no regular version of the Haunted Mansion, and then it's going to reopen as Nightmare Before Christmas sometime later this year. So that's really interesting and something we've never seen before. But going back to the Magic Kingdom version, actually the most recent update to this attraction was the Hatbox Ghost. And that was a really cool addition, and we'll see him in a second. The second most recent addition is this scene. The flashing light is actually a camera where you get a picture, which I don't know if they're still doing that actually. This attraction, so this is, like I said, this is kind of the part that's a little more scary, but what's really interesting is kind of, you have the storyline of the attraction, which the whole first part is, you're looking around this house and you're not really seeing any of this stuff. It's just like shadows and like creepy noises, and the doors are like automatically opening and closing, but you're not actually seeing any of the ghosts. And that's very much on purpose. Disney did that on purpose because until you get to the Madame Leota scene, you're not supposed to see any of the ghosts. And then once the Madame Leota scene comes up, that eventually leads to the summoning of the ghosts and the happy haunts, and then eventually the ballroom scene, and you know, um, you know, Constance Hatchaway, and then eventually the final scene, which is the graveyard, which we're gonna get to. So like I said, this whole first portion of the attraction, like even this part here, which it's such a simple effect, but the night kind of like shakes back and forth, which I think is really cool. But now people kind of don't see that because you've got the Hatbox Ghost. That's kind of the main attraction in this scene now. Another interesting thing, when it opened in Disneyland, that night, that kind of shakes back and forth now, actually used to be a live actor. Obviously, due to safety and concerns about, the safety of the cast member and things like that, they eventually took that out, and it just is a rocking back and forth animatronic, which, as cool as the night running up to the car is, it's probably better off that is the way they do it instead. And like I said, this is the transition from the kind of the eerie, noises and things like that. And now we're in the Leota scene. She summons and wakens the ghosts from Halloween's past. And then we eventually go to the ballroom. This is another recent thing they updated. They recently redid the head of Madame Leota. It's much more, it's a clearer picture, and it looks really good. I really like the way they redid that area. And it's the simple changes sometimes that make the biggest difference. Now, of course, this scene is my favorite scene of the attraction. It's hard to say between the ballroom and the graveyard, but the effects. If you can appreciate the Pepper's Ghost effects in this part of the attraction, that's why it is my favorite part. It is just so incredible how they were able to pull off this effect, and I truly don't even know if they could pull that off today. I think the creative side of Disney is just so devoid, and I hate to be negative, but I think it really just makes you appreciate just how good the effects are in there. It's incredible what they did with that area. I will say, I think the scariest part of the Haunted Mansion is this part with the Constance Hatchaway, all her beheaded husbands. Um, Obviously, this is a little bit close to home. Not because it's happened to me personally, but this is something that like could realistically happen, and it's kind of scary when you really think about it. So I don't particularly like this scene, in all honesty, and the animatronic is actually kind of scary too. I don't actually like that part. I think I like it for being creepy, but when you're in the ride, that's the part that kind of scares me the most. Oops. So this is eventually, apparently, and I really love that. That is really cool. It looks like one of those old music videos from Minecraft where they had the guy. That's what that looks like. And of course, going through the graveyard, they sing Grim Grinning Ghosts and all that. And the first time I went back to Disney from a couple of years, the head that pops out over the tomb actually really scared me. Like, genuinely scared me. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, that one, the one that kind of pops his head out there. I always get a kick out of that, because that was pretty funny. And the scariest animatronic, in my opinion, over here is the opera singer. She looks really scary. I don't know why, but in the whole graveyard sequence, the opera singer definitely, I don't know, maybe it's just because she's I don't know. Maybe because the weird, like, hat on her head. I don't know what it is. Maybe you guys could help me figure that out. And of course, here you have the hitchhiking ghosts. They replaced the old scene that used to be here. They changed it recently to where it's like now like more digitized. But they used to have like a standstill figure, kind of similar to this, how he was kind of like above your car. And now they have all these weird kind of cartoon effects that I don't think are as good. But I don't know how they did this in MC Magic, but that is incredible how they did that whole scene. I really incredible what they did with that. What are you doing there, buddy? Is he just waiting for me? He's gonna get a shot. I guess he's gonna get a free promotion on the channel here. But he is just following us around. That is pretty funny. Where are you? I can't get out of here. But anyway, that is the Haunted Mansion. Like I said, there's so much rich and deep history here. And this is actually, if you wanted to get back into the queue, you could come in through here. And there's actually another secret passageway actually in Disney World. If I could find it. I think it's this one. No, this isn't it. There's another one. Yeah, this one. This is like a secret entrance to go back through. And you go back into the main room here. So this is really kind of cool little elements to the area that, again, oh, is this a secret room? I think it is. That is pretty cool. I don't know if this is actually here or not, but that is really cool. See, you gotta sometimes explore and look around a little bit. That's really cool though. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I hope I made this a special one. I'm definitely forgetting stuff because there's just so much history and lore with this attraction. But if I forgot anything, let me know down below. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Have a magical day.